So it is apparent that many of y'all do not understand the mental wiring that goes into anorexia. And for that, you are lucky, but at the same time, it leaves you ignorant to the fact that when you're anorexic, you don't see yourself as other people see yourself. Dysmorphia and denial go hand in hand when it comes to anorexia. And y'all who've never had anorexia, first of all, anorexia does not start off like most other addictions because ultimately an addictive pattern. It is a habit, a harmful habit. Unlike a lot of other addictions, anorexia starts with restricting something that you have to have to survive, with restricting food. It's not like trying a drug. It starts off oftentimes a lot more innocently, like through water fasting or just not being hungry. It can start off innocently. You can't really say the same for other drugs. I mean, in this day and age, we live in an era of public information. So if someone tries like heroin, they know what they're getting into unless they're a naive child. So I just wanted to say that it starts off usually innocently. And the thing is so many of you are so certain that because, for instance, Eugenia Cooney, she's a YouTuber. She's actually the one who prompted me to make this video because she has not posted on her Twitter or YouTube since January 28th. It is I think the 6th today. So I know that she's like had absences before from YouTube, but this time is especially concerning because her last upload, she was definitely skinnier than she's ever been, and that says a lot because she's always been super tiny ever since she's come on the YouTube platform. So I guess like what I'm trying to say is she's not going to get help until she's ready. Bottom line. The denial that y'all see and that y'all get so annoyed with when it comes to her, she truly does not see herself as in the way that you do. And that may be hard for you to understand, but it's true. And you can be sitting there on your deathbed and still feel like it's okay. Like you don't realize you're dying until you're dying. Like until, for me, it literally took a near-death experience. That's what it took for me. Like when you are in the mind of an eating disorder, the gradual pain that you feel doesn't really mean anything. In fact, you just see that as progress. And there is such thing as being afraid to eat. And when you have anorexia, you are afraid to eat. You don't understand that just eating one apple is not going to make you look obese. But when you are in that cycle, you feel like, and a lot of times it is because if you just eat one apple, you bloat and look pregnant because your body's not used to like holding any food. And in your mind, you're so stuck in the moment that like you feel like that's all you're going to look like. Like you don't have patience. It's really hard to explain because there really is no understanding it unless you experience it. And so many people who think she likes being sick, she doesn't even realize she's sick. That's the thing. Like it literally takes a near-death experience. These girls who, and I say girls because most people with anorexia are female, who go to these eating disorder facilities, a lot of times who are ordered to go there, they, even being in that position, they still don't see themselves as sick. And there's really no way I can force y'all to believe that, but those are facts. You don't have to believe facts, but they are still facts. And you know, I'm in a way, I'm glad that there is attention brought to anorexia, but it's really sad how no one's actually like on YouTube, if you type in I have anorexia, you can see so many like raw videos of girls talking about the struggles they went through and how it's a vicious cycle and how you truly don't even realize you're sick. I mean, it's just most people are lazy and they don't want to believe that these are real people who are truly stuck in a lie that they're telling themselves. It's just easier to be like, oh, she likes this attention, she's doing it for money, and she loves how skinny she looks. Like it's just easier to be lazy and think that and like to pretend like this is all some game to her rather than see her as a human person who right now is possibly not on the internet because, you know, she maybe the other day she was in the middle of recording a video, and she was like, "Hi, you guys, it's Eugenia," and then open up. And she was finally ordered to go to a facility. And in that moment, it could have felt like the end for her. Being, no, I promise I'm fine. I promise, no. And then tears and wanting to die. I am telling you, that is real. When my anorexia was the worst, it was actually bulimia. I didn't eat for over 21 days. Well, I didn't eat for 21 days. And when I was at my brother-in-law's wedding, they paid for some big dinner, and I hadn't eaten in 21 days, and I had an absolute breakdown after eating ravioli. I thought it was the end. I couldn't believe what I had done. It was like, and looking back, it is crazy. But not all craziness is deliberate. A lot of times craziness is the result of trauma. And just from the interactions I've seen with Eugenia and her mother, I don't want to badmouth her mother. She could be a really awesome person. It's just that from their own interpersonal relationship that I've seen on camera, like even Eugenia's pitch and her voice kind of drops. Like she'll be like, "Hi guys, it's Eugenia," and then it's like when her mom comes in the picture, it's like, yeah, like I don't know. It's like she just seems more self-deprecating, and so. And I never see her mother like actually make real eye contact with her. Like there's really no engagement. It just seems it makes me wonder if Eugenia grew up like being taken care of, but not actually being engaged as a human. A lot of times that can kind of set up a mindset to where like you want to be in control. You want to like you're harder on yourself, and so you restrict food. It's the opposite of people who overindulge. But yeah, I don't really, this video has no direction. I just am worried about Eugenia. And I really hope that right now the reason that she hasn't been on the internet is because she's in a facility getting the help that she needs. By the way, just because she's an adult in this country of America, where I do believe she lives, yeah, in this country, you can, even if your child is an adult, if you have reason to think that they are harming themselves, you can get the police involved and you can get them admitted somewhere. That is a fact. Look it up, do your research. That's actually really common with eating disorders. So it's not like just so black and white as like, oh well, she's over 18, there's nothing they can do. No, absolutely they can. So that could be, although something tells me she already has probably been in some sort of treatment. I do feel that. And a lot of y'all feel like gaslit when she ignores y'all, when y'all say that, like when y'all comment on her videos and let her know the obvious, which is that she's obviously starving. Y'all feel like she's gaslighting you, but for her, it's like the ultimate fear. Like a lot of letting people know something that is tearing you apart and like determining your entire life. Like basically your eating disorder rules your life from the second you get up to the second you go to bed, if you're lucky enough to even like be able to sleep. And so acknowledging something that painful is a lot of times too hard. It's not that she's gaslighting. Like gaslighting is when somebody like purposely wants to deflect because they just don't have the integrity to admit to something. When it's something as vicious and insidious and like self-sabotaging as an eating disorder, it's not as like simple as gaslighting. Like that's literally not wanting to talk about something that rules your life in the worst way possible. Like that goes beyond gaslighting. That's her not wanting to open up that door of misery that she's a slave to right now. It's just so much deeper than gaslighting. And then people say like they get annoyed by her like Disney personality and all this. I mean, give me a break. Most people I've seen who restrict, not obese people. I can't say the same for obese. In fact, and this is going to make me sound mean, but most people I've seen who are obese, they're the first to want to like honk and nearly run over pedestrians. They're the ones who are always getting mad in line at stores. Like they seem to be the short-fused, controlling, like self-entitled people. Like not all of them, okay, but that is a correlation I've seen with obese people. It's like greed is like they're that way with food, and they're also that way with like everything. The opposite I've noticed with people who restrict. They are overly self-critical. They are super non-judgmental about other people, but they're super perfectionist about themselves. which is the opposite with obese people. I've noticed that they are super lenient with their own standards, but they're not that way with other people. And so it's especially sad when people go after her and they act like she's some cruel person trying to be a bad influence. Give me a break. She's not sitting there promoting anything. Yeah, okay, so sex sells. So when she wants to show her body in a cute way, sexy way, she knows that's a selling point for her. That's, YouTube is her career, apparently. And if that's how she's getting her hustle on. But the anorexia, she doesn't realize that she looks sick. She doesn't realize she is sick. It doesn't matter. She could have a doctor write it and put it in front of her face. You are diagnosed with anorexia. You are dying. And she's not going to realize that until she's actually near death. I said that once. I'm going to say it again. That is the truth of the matter. I've been there. If you actually take the time to look, well, it doesn't even take much time. Just type in I am anorexic on YouTube and you really, really listen to these women who've been there and who still are struggling, who are in treatment. A lot of them are recording out of treatment. They all say the same thing, that they didn't realize they were dying until they were actually almost dead. That's what it took. That's what it took for them to allow a feeding tube to even get into their body, was when they were reliant on it 100%, almost literally in the grave. So that's all I have to say about that. But hopefully she comes back smiling, and I do hope that she, through tears and fighting and rage, because that's what it would take, someone forced her to go into a facility. And it's good to be in a professional setting. But the only thing is some people won't take you if you're a certain weight because it's too much of a liability. If they feel like you're too near death, they won't take you into their facility, into their eating disorder rehab or whatever you want to call it, because they're afraid that you're going to die in their hands and they don't want to be held responsible. So that, I mean, I've seen girls bigger than her who haven't been allowed. So I really, the thought of her being in a facility is hard to believe based on that, unless one made an exception for her. But yeah, I just wanted to vent about that. So that's all. Thank you.